Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Finance Story. We're a leading digital publication that celebrates life in finance, and I'm your host, Vishal Krishna. Digital is the name of the game, and the role of finance has also changed. But talking about these changes with a wealth of experience is Mr. Harinderjit Singh, who's our guest today. He has been with PwC for 32 years. He's a CA from the 1988 batch. Sir, how are you?
Hi, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm fine.
Sir, I want to know about your childhood. How did you develop an interest for finance? How did you start your early crunching of numbers, and how did you eventually become a CA? Let's start there.
So I have been basically a Delhiite, born and brought up in Delhi. Interestingly, my in the school I had science subjects, and then I developed interest towards accountancy and switched the course from science to commerce. So I did my undergrad from the Delhi University, from Bhagat Singh College, BCom honors, and later on, the natural progression from doing BCom honors was to chartered accountancy, because and there I had a little issue because there are not many chartered accountants in my family, and I had to go to my friends to find out the prospect of being a chartered accountant, and I was warned it's a very tough course, but it is a very promising course, and your future will be bright, and that's how I got into the chartered accountancy.
Did you hear about something called CA at all, or did somebody or a mentor come and say that you should do CA if you like accounts?
So that's also another interesting story. My father was transferable job, so soon after I graduated, we moved to Bombay. My father got transferred to Bombay. Now, what I found a difference between Delhi and Bombay was that the awareness of the commercial world was much more higher than Delhi. And their introduction, and they understood the course very well. It was in the air, and therefore there were many people who could advise me, and I found a firm where I started my articleship. You have to do 3 years articleship before you pass the exam. So I started my career actually in Bombay after graduating from the Delhi University, and there the environment, being a commercial capital, the awareness was very high, and I could find friends who could guide me, and of course, being in a CA firm, that guidance was coming from the firm also.
Okay, how did PwC happen?
So,
You finished your chartered accountancy in '88. Did you
yeah.
immediately join PwC?
So my awareness increased when I did my chartered accountancy. Again, my father got transferred back, and I came back to Delhi, completed my CA. In between, I did post-graduation diploma in management studies in Delhi University, which was a 2 years part-time course. So I increased my education after graduation with these 2 years part-time course. Then I came back to Delhi. I finished my chartered accountancy in Delhi. By that time, I was aware of big firms and the medium size and the small firm. So I chose a firm, SB Billimoria, after my completion of my chartered accountancy, and I worked there 2 years. And in those days, Billimoria has represented one of the large firms in the one of the big four firms, or big six at that time, in India. And so I got the basic feel of a large firm working in SB Billimoria's. And then Price WaterHouse happened. In a very, very rare thing, Price WaterHouse came out with a ad which suited my profile, and I said, why not decide?
It was a newspaper ad, is it?
Sorry?
It was a newspaper ad.
It's a very rare newspaper, because I don't recollect after that we have ever given an ad in the newspaper, because we are always surplus in application. In any case, so I responded to the ad, went through the interviews, and that is where my journey started with Price WaterHouse in 1989. So I'm actually from legacy Price WaterHouse. And the Price WaterHouse became PwC in the year 1998. When we merged with a firm called Coopers & Lybrand. So I was already into the firm for 9 years And that is how the journey with the large firm, started.
Okay. Did that change your career and mindset in any way? And what were some of the learnings, some of the challenges? How did that shape you? I also want to ask you, after you answered this question that I just asked, how come stay with one firm for so many years? Was it because you enjoyed it so much that you stayed on? I just want to know those things. Go on.
So let's divide the question in two parts. I will answer the latter part later on. First thing first. Initially, in 2-3 years' time, when I spent time with Price WaterHouse, I knew the difference of this firm vis-a-vis the other firms. And I told myself, why can't I make this my home, right? Actually, by nature, I'm not the Rolling Stone type. I like to I like to stick to one firm, provided there are no reasons for me to leave. So initial stage, I decided that this could be my home for life. So I had decided very early in my career that I'm going to be spending time on. Now, what's the difference between this firm and the other firms, and why people are attracted to the Big Four is the question which you are asking. And the answer is very simple. First thing is you get exposed to world-class methodology. So even in those days when I was in Price WaterHouse, we were already part of the PW network, the legacy Price WaterHouse network. And we get to learn the latest methodology, the latest techniques of doing audit, right? Our HR was even then very strong. It was a people-driven organization. There was a lot of care for people to do that. The environment was very friendly. People, the seniors who understood the time they had to give to their subordinates to deal with their personal life, right? And at the same time, you could grow in the firm. Now, luckily, what happened? The liberalization happened around 91. If you remember, the first reforms happened in 1991, and I was already in the firm. And the growth which our firm undertook was amazing. I mean, they had never seen this kind of a growth. Although our firm is 140 years old, we'd never seen this kind of growth in that because of the liberalization. And the advantage we got out of that, people who had joined the firm, was that they need people at the senior level to sustain that growth. So I was there at the right time, at the right place, where there was tremendous opportunity to grow myself, not only as a professional, but as a personality. See, these are two different things. You can technically be very strong, but your personality may not be that good, right? My senior depended a lot on me. They saw the potential in me. I was working hard. I will not say that it was an easy ride. I was working sometimes 7 days in a week. In those days, this quality of life concept was not there at that time. Sometimes I used to work. So I caught the eye of my seniors, and with the growth going up, they were looking for people to, push people into senior position. And that is how, this whole thing happened. Now, on the latter part of your question on why I stayed so long in the firm, now that goes into the philosophical side of the mind. The philosophical side of the mind says, are you getting challenges every day in the office? And I like to, have every day, my day was different, new type of challenges, different type of clients, cross sector, industry agnostic, all type of clients, manufacturing, services, software, trading, you name it. And there was chance to develop my own team. So I was very good in developing. So the first point is that I found the challenging environment, which is my basic nature. I wanted to look at challenges in life. And second is that bring a lot of enjoyment to me. I like to work in a challenging environment. I don't want to get caught in mundane stuff. I dreaded going into a bank and signing checks. So, so that's not my cup of tea. Second important thing for staying long is trust on your leadership. If you keep doubting your seniors and leadership, they are not thinking good of you, or not, they will not take care of your long-term perspective, then it's not the place for you to go, right? So I had a lot of trust on my seniors that they will lead me to a good career in the firm, and therefore I can focus on my work, they can take care of my career and remuneration. Then why I need to go? And the third
Brilliant.
point was that I could balance my life between my personal and my, you know, official life, in spite of such hard work which I was doing. Uh, so these are those 3, 4 things which I was very impressed, and plus my own growth, in the firm. And you get a reasonable indication when you are growing in the firm that you are going to make it to the top. And at that time, what was our top, aspiration was to become a partner. I'll be very honest with you. And you get a reasonable indication from your seniors that yes, you are moving towards that goal. And then why to leave? Every box which I could think was getting ticked. I was liking my work, the work was challenging, my remuneration was good, I was growing, and my path was getting clearer. And so I became a partner in 1998, just before my merger with Coopers and Lybrand. And you know, after that, I spent 24 years plus as a partner. So that's
That's
my.
phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
So this
So,
is this is not from a written text. I am just
yeah.
saying what
No, no,
I
this is
felt.
amazing. This is amazing. I
Yeah.
want to know, in those 32 years of your career with PwC, what was some of the most fruitful kind of most fruitful kind of work that you did? Something to do with the client, or something to do with
I will tell
let's
you.
say a
I
global
will tell you.
transaction or something. Please.
I will tell you. So 4 or 5 things happened in my career, which are quite unique. And if you compare my profile with any other Big Four partner, they will be few, hardly few in the entire Big Four, which happened to me and it didn't happen to others. So that is why I find my career very fulfilling. So, of course, my main job remained till the end was client service partner, right? And in that, there were various shades. Earlier, I was engagement leader. Then I became senior client relationship partner. So those all connected with the, a client service. So that was my core, right? And those in that core also, I kept on, growing in my role. At the end, I was dealing with the boards, the audit committees, so that was one part, the client service, which was the core of my work. The second important part, which differentiates me from the rest, is that in the year 2003, there was a lot of big noise. There was noise around Big Four, right? Coming from various quarters, and my partners decided that I should go to that policy table from where this Big Four, anti-Big Four, on or people who don't like Big Four, the voice is coming, and I should, go and present my view, although as a minority. So I contested elections of Central Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Nobody in my firm in recent times dared to do that, right? And especially in North India, nobody had stood for elections for Central Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. And I was written off from the day when I announced my candidature by the rest of the world, the usual people who contest elections, that there is no chance this guy is going to win. And we made it our junoon to win. And we won the election. The entire firm the entire firm, even people who had nothing to do with chartered accountancy, the engineers, you know, the people who are in different fields rallied around, and we won the election. So I became an elected member of Central Council election, not once, twice. So I did 2 terms of that, 2004 to 2010. Twice I won elections. Now, the advantage of that was I was chairing some very important committees of the institute. Like I was chairman of the auditing standard board, I was chairman of the industries committee, I was chairman of research committee, many important positions I held, which also opened the doors for me to look beyond Big Four. So I started to understand and appreciate the issues of the entire profession and give a very balanced view at the council and not just talk about the Big Four, right?
In this era, how do you look at leadership, especially for the youngsters that have worked with you the last 4 5 years? What are some of the leadership lessons that you want to share with them?
I'll come to that. So the question which you are talking about is the most relevant question which every organization, and especially the Big Four, are facing, and that's their biggest challenge. Because what is Big Four or our similar type of setup is basically people. We don't have plant and machinery, right? We have people, right? Now here is the issue. All the Big Four firms in India and elsewhere had experienced tremendous kind of growth, right? What has got left behind probably from a leadership perspective is the care of the individual who is working in the firm. And it goes both ways. Let me explain what I'm saying. When I joined the firm, the setup obviously was much smaller, right? And there was a one-to-one connection between the leader and the people, right? Today, that connection is lost. So the best advice I can give to a leader is form small groups and give attention to that millennial or Gen Z or whoever that guy is, and have a conversation with him, a regular conversation with him, and see whether he's liking the job or not. Has he understood the purpose and culture of the organization? Maybe the communication between the leader and the person who is joined is not that great. That person who has joined doesn't understand for what this organization stands for. Is he lost in that madding crowd? Is he part of a drop in the ocean? So many exit interviews which I have participated, one of the things which come top, and you will be surprised, it's not the remuneration, is that there is no sense of belonging to the organization. In that case, the decision to leave becomes easier. Correct. So therefore, my request and my suggestion to the leader would be that please spend time with their juniors and explain them. They need explanation. They need to understand the rationale. Those good old days are gone where, in a patriarchal society where the father will say something and the son will agree. Those days are gone. As the Gen Z or millennial is concerned, I also have a message for them. And that message is that you got to stabilize your mind. And you should agree in your mind that there are certain things which will happen with elapse of time.
Brilliant. Last question. If youngsters want to join PwC or the Big Four, what would you tell them? What are some of the things that they have to follow if they have to come into the Big Four?
So the advice I would give them is that we are looking for people beyond technical skills, right? So a person has to develop his personality. he has to be good in his communication, because I have to picture this person in front of my client. And who are my clients? They are majority multinational companies or big firms, big companies in that. I can't have a person standing in front of my client who, although may be brilliant technically, but can't present himself properly, can't communicate properly, can't present the firm properly. Those kind of people, unfortunately, we avoid.
A brilliant answer, sir. Sir, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being on the Finance Story. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Harinderjit Singh, and I hope you enjoyed the discussion as much as I did. I learned a lot. He's a wealth of experience. Obviously, he's consulting with startups now. So if you're a startup watching this, you can write to him on LinkedIn, and he's happy to take your calls. And thank you so much once again, sir.
Thank you very much for your time.